Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we're reviewing the S.H.Figuarts Yamato from the series One Piece. Now, I'm pretty unfamiliar with Yamato's whole deal in One Piece, even though they're pretty much the reason why I started One Piece in the first place, just because I thought the design was super cool. Now, I know little bits and pieces, but I don't know a whole lot, so if I'm wrong in anything that I say, I'm sorry. I'm just not familiar with the character yet, even though I do really like them in terms of design. Now, this is the S.H.Figuarts Yamato. It is the fourth S.H.Figuarts One Piece figure, and the main indicator that we weren't going to get the Straw Hats all together, at least as the first releases. So they did Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and now Yamato. Then after that, there will be Kaido, the Netflix figures, Gear 5 Luffy, Trafalgar Law, pre-time skip Luffy and Nami. There's going to be Captain Kidd. So it's going to be pretty wild before we actually get a full group of Straw Hats in the S.H.Figuarts line, if at all. So taking a quick look at the box, you can see it's the standard S.H.Figuarts format with a clear window into the front and promo image along the front, sides, and back. You can get a bit of an idea of the poses you can get them into, and you can also see that Yamato, much like the other S.H.Figuarts One Piece figures, comes with an alternate face for Luffy. And this is the classic big grinning smile that we see all the time from Luffy, and in One Piece it's pretty damn iconic and pretty damn important to the character. It's a shame that it's locked behind another character, which is buying the Yamato figure. And it really should have been something that was included with the base Luffy figure. It's so iconic to the character, and I know that Yamato isn't everyone's favorite, so it's also a bit of a shame that to get one of the best faces that they've done so far, you need to buy a character that isn't necessarily the favorite. I know that that's a whole business strategy to sell more copies, but it is still a bit mean. But taken out of the box, you can see what Yamato comes with. So they come with 5 alternate faces, a giant mace, a face for Luffy, several different hands for the left and right hand, some of them pairs, some of them not, and an additional base connector for a Tamashii Act 5 stand, as well as a stand at the back that you can't quite see from this shot, and it's missing the standard clipping grips because this adapter that they've included is specifically to hold Yamato up. So taken out of the box and put on the display stand, here is Yamato. They can stand without the base, but I use it anyway just in case, because the Yamato's design is quite sort of top heavy, or at least middle heavy, and their feet and shoes are a little bit awkward to stand, which is the whole reason why you needed an additional stand support to hold them up, just because there's not a whole lot of area to disperse that weight. But regardless, they look really good. This is a nicely designed figure, very good, vibrant colors. This is part of the reason why I like Yamato so much. There's bright, bold colors, the whites, the purples, the reds, as well as just having a unique design in general with the massive bow and horns. Just looks really nice. I like the sort of shrine maidenish look that Yamato has, and it has translated very well into the S.H.Figuarts line. Now, I don't know a lot of accuracy in terms of size of the figure or exact colors or proportions, but from what I've seen, this seems pretty accurate, with very long arms, legs, and just a pretty damn imposing aura, because they are much larger than a standard One Piece S.H.Figuarts or a standard Figuarts in general. So here they are standing next to the Luffy, and you can see Yamato stands probably about 2 heads or so above Luffy, and so there is a noticeable height difference, and as far as I know, that's fairly accurate, because I know Yamato is taller than most of the other cast, but I don't know if it's 100% accurate. So you can get a bit of an idea to how they stand. But moving right along, we'll go to posability. So there is a ball joint at the head and neck, which allows for pretty good movement. The ponytail does get in the way, but there is a hinge and rotation and a bend midway through the ponytail, so you can get them into fairly dynamic poses. Arms can move out that far unassisted, and there is a butterfly which allows them to reach forward decently well. There is an upper arm swivel, a bend at the elbow, as well as a ball hinge at the wrist. There is a ball joint in the torso, which allows them to move around and wiggle around pretty well, as well as make an ab crunch. There are some soft materials in here, so it makes the sculpt look pretty natural, but there are still some obvious joint cuts. There is a waist swivel, and thanks to a segmented skirt, you can kick up that far and back that far, which is pretty good coming from a lot of S.H.Figuarts lately, and One Piece in particular. There is a bend at the knees, a hinge and pivot at the ankle, as well as a toe bend, and much like Luffy, the toe bend includes the sandal, which is really cool. And you can get a fairly good dynamic range out of the figure, and thanks to the segmented skirt, it doesn't get in the way too much, but it does break the sculpt pretty easily, so it does require quite a bit of finagling to get everything working. And there are ball joints holding the side skirts together, as well as the bow at the back together, so they can move out of the way pretty well, but just be warned that they can be a bit fiddly. So it's not too bad, but not the best posability we've seen, but for the One Piece line, it's pretty free and pretty good. In terms of accessories, Yamato comes with a standard neutral face, a big laughing smiling face, a sort of eyes wider determined laughing face. I'm sure there's a reason for this, but there is a noticeable difference between them. Like, one has much brighter eyes and the mouth looks a little bit wider, but they both look good and distinct enough. There's an eyes looking to the side and teeth gritted angry face, as well as an angry shouting face. And of course we also get the bright, big, smiling Luffy, which looks really, really good, and again, it's a shame that it's included with this figure and not with the base set, but still a really good face nonetheless. Yamato also comes with their mace, and it's actually really, really well balanced, and you can get some really good poses out of them using all the different faces and hands, and the adapter stand piece works really, really well in holding them up, and I'm really impressed with the actual range of motion you can get on this figure and how dynamic it is. They can hold aerial poses pretty well too, and I had practically no trouble at all getting them to match pretty much any of the promo images. The only real pain was adjusting the skirt to make sure that you couldn't see the legs underneath it, because it's meant to be one long dress piece, and it is pretty easy to break that sculpt to get them balanced correctly. But with a little bit of fiddling, it all works well. And pretty much every single mace pose I got them into just looks fantastic. All the singular poses look great. I think that the sculpt and design just work really, really well with the figure, and the sort of imposing stature of the figure itself work really, really well. It's a simple design, but it's a bold design, and it just looks really, really nice. I'm sure there's more that I could have done with it, because I don't quite understand the references of every single face, but I played around with it as best I could and imitated the promo images as best I could, and I think it all turned out rather well. So I wouldn't say this figure is as good as the Sanji, but I had more to do with the Sanji because I understood his abilities a bit more. But he was lacking in a few other accessories, even though he came with effect parts. It would have been nice if he had, say, like another pocket, or different hands holding different cigarettes, or a plate of food, or something like that. But he still came away with enough to make me satisfied with my purchase. And the Yamato, again, I'm satisfied with the purchase, but I feel like Sanji was a better figure because he probably meant more to me, and he's just really, really fun to play around with without the assistance of like a stand or anything like that. Whereas Yamato, you need a stand to make this figure work pretty much at all times, which is probably the only real drawback that this figure has. But overall, still really, really good. So at the top it's Sanji, below that it's Yamato, then it's Luffy, then it's Zoro, and hopefully all of the figures from here on out are at least at Yamato's standard. But that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed that video, and I will see you all next time.